Hello and welcome back to Purple Does Poison, a Druid Blight caster live. This is level 18. We're sitting here in the harbour, looking out at the setting sun across the waves and contemplating life and its many mysteries. This is the second take for this level. The first one met a grisly end in the Veil of in the Veil of Twilight, is it? The level 16 wilderness area with the shroud. I just know it as the Veil. I was trying to do a quest in there to do something a bit different because I'm pretty sure most people when leveling will just skip that area altogether, given the long distance of the quests and the length of the quests themselves. So I wanted to show one of those, and what I ended up doing was illustrating one of the points I was going to make anyway in this episode. So I made the point at the very start and then ran into it big style in the middle and was forced to abandon the quest. So I will explain. The point was with this abandoning the strategy of abandoning the spell-like abilities and going with the double maximize. The build is pretty thirsty, so you're reliant on rest shrines to top up in the longer quests where needed. And either I didn't find one or there wasn't one before the very end of that quest. And to make matters worse, there was a sort of a mini boss in the middle of it who just kept healing himself, and in the end all I had left was my echoes of power, the regenerating mana, and I was using the sunburst spell-like ability because that's the only spell-like ability I have, along with the word of balance, and it just wasn't enough to chip the guy down. So I had this laughable situation where I was sitting there, trying to take some off him, getting him down to half health. He would heal himself back, and this went on for like a minute or two. I thought to myself, I can't show people this, it's absolutely ridiculous. So in the end I just lost patience with it and cut it. So that's why we've ended up here. We're outside the tunnel cave-in thing in the harbour for the second one of the Lords of Dust chain we're going to try. The enhancements, as you can see, are the same as they were. I'm thinking maybe... Oh, actually, we need 40 in this tree to be able to get the capstone, don't we? So I'm going to have to think what to add. I tried with the Poison of the Hydra enhancement, as mentioned. As I mentioned I would, with the poison spell. Maybe in part because I don't have the poison negative belt on anymore, so that won't have helped it, but it seemed pretty underwhelming to me. But we'll certainly have to try making use of it when we go into the epics, so I'll still probably end up having to put 2 points in there. The other thing I thought about was something I definitely need to make use of in epics: reducing the cost of enlarge. We will get that anyway later on in epic in the primal tree, which will be a big investment for us. But I can't emphasize enough how nice it is in the tougher difficulties to be able to immobilize a group from distance without them even moving to see you. And if they haven't moved, it means they're all together, and they're very easily immobilized by, like, let's say a sorcerer's mass hold, or a bard for that matter, or in the case of this character, the contagion, which seems to work very nicely. So yeah, I was thinking to try that. We've only got 3 spare points at the moment, and you really need to invest 6 to get the -4. A bit like with Quicken, if you put 4 points in, you only get -2 fewer spell points every time. You've got to put the third level in to get the 4 fewer, which is the one you really want. I could, I suppose, just try putting the enlarge on the two ones that are really going to matter. I mean, I can see us going through a whole quest with Contagion and an Acid Well, doing it that way. But there are going to be occasions where the things are too close anyway. So I won't do it for now. Once we can get the cost of enlarge reduced in Epic, I think that'll be the time to do that. Right, level 18 then. As one of you recommended, I put the last feat into Spell Focus Conjuration because I think it's quite clear now that Acid Well is going to be our bread and butter. Not to say win button going forward. Spells, I took Storm of Vengeance and Storm Rage. The latter is very useful for also granting the Deflect Arrows feat. Now on my main build, main Druid, he has the Deflect Arrows feat through 6 points in the Vistani tree. And somebody quite rightly pointed out in the comments that you can get the feat, you know, if you happen to be under heavy fire, you can just click this Storm Rage on and have the Deflect Arrows without having to waste those 6 points. I have a terrible habit of not remembering to press these things, so I preferred on my main character the 6 points. Is that an option for us here? Yeah, I think the Vistani tree's open to us. So, and I think we will have, after investing 41 in there, I don't think we want any more in here. In fact, I'm pretty certain we don't. So, I think we will have 6 left over to put into there. So we could do worse than doing that. And think about that. And that's going to give us a bit more PRR and MRR as well. Right. So that was the spells. We took the 2 core 5s in both the Druid trees. I mean, this is the one standout thing. When you do the Blight caster, you also get access to this second caster tree, which really does help you, like boosting up. There's 8 extra crit chance there for the spells in your season, which for us means acid, cold, electric, force. It's just amazing that it's everything that we're dealing with, you know, acid well, tsunami, earthquake, what else is there? The word of balance, that's force, the storm rage and core lightning, obviously lightning, so everything is covered in there. And as a standard Season's Herald, we'd only have recourse to this tree, and we'd end up probably having a secondary tree as the Feydark one, which in my opinion is not nearly so good as having these 2 caster trees together, which you can obviously only have when you're the Blight caster archetype. So that's very nice. We've got extra wisdom, extra crit chance from the second tree. It's just good times, that. Good times. More spell power in the cores. There's an extra max caster level there for spells appropriate to the season. So there's just nothing not to like by doubling up the 2 trees. Storm Rage, we've covered. That's it's quite a long casting animation. I tend to use it only for an end boss or a big end room, something like that, when I actually remember to click it. So I tend to, you can double up the 2 spells, the spell-like ability and the spell itself. You can throw them both down for a bit of extra oomph when needed. And this, extra damage now, acid damage to Earthquake. Now Earthquake, I have used very sparingly, simply because I'm running on low levels and things tend to be dying rather than needing to be crowd controlled. I could see this being very nice at the cap when like in mid Reaper, sort of Reaper 6, I would typically lead with a sort of a slow spell like the Ice Storm, and then throw the Earthquake in. And now if it was doing extra damage as well, that would be crowd control plus damage, which is just going to be really nice. And it's a theme, as I mentioned before, that seems to run through this build, like with the Grasping Thorns that you can boost up as well. Now, as good as this is, for one reason or another, I've used it so little that I've even not replaced the Coated Thorns enhancement yet. And I've taken away the Defiled Growth and negative energy damage on the Thorns. Maybe that's a huge mistake. Maybe, how much does it cost that? Well, it's costing 48, so it's not cheap. It's the same cost as an Acid Well. Oh, that's because we've got Heighten on it. Well, let's take that off and see what. So 39, it's still, I mean, you might as well just blow them all away with the Acid Well, might you, as cast that. That's the situation we're in. What did I don't really want that there. Let's just put that there for now, remind ourselves we've got it. As you can see maybe by the faded presence on the bar, this Unkindness of Ravens thing, I keep going to try it, but I'm not sure if you can try it when you have a familiar as well. I think you might have to choose between that and the Raven. I don't like the Raven anyway, it sort of flutters around distracting me. And this familiar is far more useful to us. 5 force and 5 universal spell power is not to be sniffed at when we like force so much. Where was I at? Oh, we explained already the maximize thing. Oh yeah, one of you kind of touched on something in passing that I thought maybe I would like to discuss a little bit, because it's something, I think it's something that bears a bit of discussion. This idea of a character being better than another, or you know, what's the current meta, or the, you know, is this race better than that or not? Yeah, you can debate it until the cows come home. But for me, if you know, if you're having fun with a build and it contributes reasonably well to, you know, to your group in whatever way that may be, then I see that as a good thing. I mean, people go to absolutely crazy lengths. I've read about people using like 10,000 of these threads of fate, which, if you didn't know, is the end game raid currency. You get a few of these threads every time you do an end game raid, and they can be used to purchase various nice items to help you on your travels. But 10,000 to me is an unbelievably large amount. I've never had anything like that, because I don't raid so often. And to use that to try and get the right combination on this gem of many facets, which, if you didn't know, is a craftable trinket that drops in the is it Epic Chronoscope raid? I think it's the Epic one only. Epic Chronoscope raid, and then you can upgrade it and craft on it. But every time you want to change it has 2 different set bonuses it can have on it, and this is what people are after. But they only want the set bonuses that tally with their build. Most people settle for 1 set bonus, but some decide they want the 2 to be just right, and in so doing spend thousands of these threads of fate, and sometimes don't ever get what they want. So it's just all that to say, you can chase this better and best until you're blue in the face, and until it kind of becomes I don't know. It's not. It doesn't sound particularly fun to me, and that sounds like a really good way to waste a valuable resource. 10,000 threads of fate. Most of us could do really good things with that. So, yeah, my definition of a decent end build is something that can do, can hold its own in mid Reaper at the end game, and that you have fun with, regardless of, if it's the best race or if it's the best build or this or that for the job. Just something that you have fun with and that you can see yourself making a nice contribution with. And that's it. I don't put much stock in, if this could be better or that. And I think what the purple series has taught me, one of the things anyway, aside from the fact there's a nice little community out there waiting to be discovered that I decided I wouldn't speak to for years. One of the biggest things it's taught me is there's nothing wrong with playing for the sake of playing. I mean, this live Purple's doing as a Blight caster, he has an end build, if you didn't know, as an acid warlock, a tanky thing. So the Blight caster will give, 5 acid and poison spell power for this life? Which, given that he's on around 500 for those two, or thereabouts, it's neither here nor there, is it? Might as well not bother doing it if I was doing it for that. So, you best just enjoy the adventure, enjoy the journey, instead of thinking, I need to do all these lives and those lives and these lives. I speak from a position of knowing both. I fell into the trap of thinking, I need all these lives on my main character, and I do have a lot of lives on Fools, and whilst it makes some kind of a difference, I won't say it makes no difference at all, it's abundantly clear to me, having played 2 characters, my Archer and Purple, with very few past lives, that with the right build and gear, they can be more than competitive, in the end game. Purple was contributing hugely. I think, I put a video out on it in the kind of epilogue that we did. He was doing fine in Reaper 6 Legendary questing, helping other people to get the job done, which was great. My Archer Red can do really decent damage in a group that kind of takes the attention off him. I think any ranged build needs that. Soloing with a ranged build is just going to be a no-no, generally. But if you've got people there who can divert the enemy's attention, my God, the damage is insane. And he again has few past lives. So, about the better and best, well, yeah. If I could do one thing to make Fools, my main character, better, it would be the... we touched on it with one of you. There's an end game raid, isn't there? Is it Hunt or Be Hunted? Where the Pomura's... is it Pomura's Memento or something like that comes from? That can be converted to an augment that gives you 5 on all spell crit chances. Is it universal spell crit chance 5, something like that? Now, for any damage dealing caster, that's an amazing augment. So if I could choose just one to help Fools, it would be that one. But I'm quite happy with his end gear. It's not by any means the meta, not going heavily into the dino gear as some people have done. It's Feywild, a 7-piece Feywild full set. But you've seen the results. He's more than capable of carrying himself in mid Legendary Reaper, and I'm quite happy with that. So, too long didn't listen. Don't get hung up in, who's best and who's better and all that. Just have a nice time with good people and enjoy your build, enjoy the journey. That's my 2 cents on that. I'd better not go and die in this quest, else I've lost all that mountain of waffle. Another excuse for doing it on Reaper 1. Right. Farewell Harbour. Yeah, the sunset now. We've got the starry night here. That's just how long I've been waffling. And the old lighthouse. Isn't that a nice view? The light reflecting on the water. I must be a romantic at heart. Okay. Let's get stuck in. So, we really should try and test out this. I want you to see this earthquake, see how that stacks up. So I'll try and do that if I can think on. But the main meat in the sandwich is going to be the contagion followed by acid well. Or honestly, I think I could probably get away with just throwing the acid well in without holding them first to make a bit of a economy on the spell points. From memory, there are shrines at regular intervals in this one, so we shouldn't run into too many issues with the spell points running out, hopefully. Okay, I'm not going to bother with the lightning thing because we're just going to try and eliminate the groups as they pop up.
You have entered the nether realm of
And the first mistake I've made here, these lot take ages to do the sort of preamble. So I should have come here and buffed instead. I must try and use the sunburst there more, the spell-like ability, because it's just silly having that and not making the best use. It's so cheap, it's 4 points, and I've got all my metas to go on it. So that was the acid well without the hold. That was the hold, and then the tsunami. So the tsunami as well is deadly.
Dusty remains lie in front of a sealed stone door on the
You can see now we're up to 240 temp hit points, which is pretty awesome. Wisdom 48, so times 5 now. That's what we got with the 5th core of the Blight caster tree. Oops, wrong key. Acid well, even though they were fairly resistant to it, they still got 1 shot. So between the acid well and the tsunami, those are your win buttons. I'll go with the acid well again here without holding them, just throw it in. Yeah, my god. Now we're going to see, because there's a huge group down there.
The drow here are completely prying.
That's the acid well. Oh, we didn't quite get them all, okay. But that's how effective and how much of an area the contagion goes. There was quite a line there that it got, so we can stun in quite a wide area there, which is really nice. I don't think there's much to choose between that and a mass hold. Let's try it down there. Yeah, look at that. Oh, we cocked up a bit there.
The only way forward is down into Kyber's depths.
Now, how are we doing with mana? I think we're okay. I don't think we need to stop at this one. My goodness me. Yeah, contagion, acid well, win-win. That's nice because it's oh, lag here. In fact, it's kind of ground to a halt. it's nice the contagion's working so well, because that's one of the sort of features of the Blight caster tree, to modify that so it works with more than one target. And insidious spores, have I even got that as a spell? I don't think I have I? I think we'll have something like that, if not the exact spell, at Epic. It's one of the enhancements, isn't it, in the primal tree. To be honest, when the acid well's doing this well, is there really any point focusing on anything else at this point? Can we get you all together? Might you just do me a favour and group up a little bit? That's not too bad. How about a little freeze? There we go.
The passageway is eerily quiet.
Now these Hezro can sometimes be a bit of a pain. Can you two get together? Yep, you can. Oh, we didn't kill him. I think that's the first one that we haven't killed outright with the acid well. He must have made his save, I think. What is the save? 52 fortitude. Yeah, I bet they have good fortitude. 52 is nice at this level. Not amazing, but certainly nice. I'm betting bards especially could be in the 60s by now. In all the, I think every core of the Spellsinger tree, you get +1 to your spell DCs, which is really nice. So between the acid well and the tsunami, just nothing survives. At least not yet. But I do notice that the spell points are going a little bit now.
This magic barrier is different. It is flanked by a pair of empty sockets.
Now there's a shrine behind me, isn't there? Isn't there? No. Where is the shrine? It's in there, okay. Let's just get rid of these creatures. Oh, I think they were immune to the hold. Our spiders generally are, aren't they? Yeah, we're not gonna. I think there might be one more shrine before we get to the end, but we're not going to take any chances. Not after what I saw in that other quest, where we just sort of got ground painfully down to running on fumes. I think it's worth having to stop at the odd shrine just for the. I mean, I think we can all agree it's just sailing along with this acid well thing, isn't it? So much so I'm willing to bet. I mean, he has reasonable acid spell power and crit. We're up towards 400 now on the acid power, and the crit chance is 42. So that's decent for this level. But even did he not have that, let's say it was 100 less. Bear in mind we're maximising as well. So that's 150 extra on top. Even if we had no acid gear at all and we were just relying on these goggles for the potency and insightful potency, that would be 90. I still think we would be mopping up with that thing. Maybe not as emphatically as we're currently doing, but I think it would be enough. Look at that. I mean, just everything disappears. It's ridiculous. Oh, what happened there? Spell misfired or he was immune? I think either he's completely neutral, that one, or the spell just didn't go. Maybe they're neutral, those Fire Reaver. It's possible.
The heat grows more oppressive as the path drops deeper into the heart of Kyber.
We said we'd test the earthquake, didn't we? I guess in the final fight is not really the place to do it. I'm sure we'll get to testing it in Epic. Oh, that wasn't good. She saved the bugger. That was a real misuse of mana, that.
Bars entry into a massive cavern beyond.
Okay, so the thing to bear in mind in here, as soon as you talk to the lady, some pretty deadly drow appear on here. So either have somebody here to crowd control them, or just be ready yourself to turn round and sort the job out. And now let's try and sort all this out. I'm going to try all the time to group all the things around me and do one acid and just kill them all. Try and save some mana that way. And if we get a lost soul, that is just perfect. Now, are they ranged, those drow, or are they going to come to us? I don't know. Oh, they have a bit of range. Okay, we're going to sit on you then. Kill everybody around you. Oh, something went wrong there. As Stephen would say, this is good old Yorkshire mana management time. And that spell just fizzled. Should probably be using the lightning thing here to pick up the stragglers. There's 2 crowns in there, which is not good. I can hear a soul. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we'll focus it on me, you, Mr. Hezro. Yes, look at that, that's tsunami. I think the tsunami's a bit more reliable than the acid well in this situation where we've got folk crowding around us. Sometimes, as has been mentioned before, if something sort of sneaks behind you as you're casting the spell, nothing happens. Now, can we get you 2 together? That would be really nice if we could. Beautiful, beautiful. I think this build would perform really well in a group. I say a group because to go higher than Reaper 1, which is perfectly capable of doing, but you're using more mana to kill the things, and if the onus is all on you to kill everything, you're going to find yourself running out of mana on occasion. Whereas if you're in a group and the kills are being shared and other people are doing damage too, you've got everything to help the group. Monstrous AoE capabilities at this level. Really decent crowd control. I didn't even use the Grasping Thorn because the contagion is so good. and that's giving a stun. So anybody who hits the targets after you've stunned them like that is getting bonus damage, including you. So that followed by an AoE attack is just devastating, as you've seen.
Something is waiting in the lowest depths of
Oh, my worst quest in game coming up, the Spinner of Shadows. So I won't bore you with that. I will leave it there for now. Hope that was okay for you. Sorry I rambled on a bit at the beginning. I will speak to you in the next one, and thank you very much as always for looking. Take care.